Hey everybody, it's Ken Davenport. Welcome back to another episode of The Producer's Perspective Live with me, Ken Davenport. Tonight, Tony Award-winning book writer and lyricist for Fun Home, Ms. Lisa Kron. Always a fascinating conversation. And get this, special guest, YouTube viral sensations, daddy-daughter duo Matt and Savannah Shaw. We are here to raise money for the Actors Fund, so do me a favor. Give me some thumbs up, give me some hearts, give me some share of this stream right now. Let all your friends know. I'll wait. Go ahead. Hit the heart. Thumbs up. Okay, good. Let's go for it. Hit it, Mary. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to all you first-time viewers as well. So happy you're all here. We have a very special action-packed episode for you tonight. Both Lisa Kron and the Shahs are going to be here in just a few moments. Hello to everybody. Hello from La La Land. Cheers. Look at that. Lisa's got some fans in the house. Matt and Savannah have some fans. Hello, Alan. Hello to everybody. Don't forget, get your questions ready. So if you have questions for either of our special guests tonight, we're now doing this special, very fancy feature that my producer, Mary Dina, figured out, in that we can bring you on and you can ask a question live. It's so fancy, modern technology. It's amazing. So we can bring you on live, but here's what you need to do. You need to type the word question in all caps, throw it in the thing, in the chat box, wherever that is on your screen. Right there. Mary will then find you, so be nice to her, and then she's going to send you a Facebook message. You got to keep your messenger open, keep your messages open, and then she will send you the secret super decoder thing that will give you access. It's a special code word. We should actually do that, Mary. Come up with a code word, because I've always wanted to have a code word like entrance to something. The code word is Broadway. I don't know. I just gave it up. So anyway, get those questions ready, and we'll take some for both Lisa and the Shahs. Don't forget, we are here to raise money for the Actors Fund. So all you folks out there, give a little. Give just a little bit. Goes to a great cause, helping more than just actors, helping everyone who's going through a tough time. We just posted some very, well, I'm going to say it, just some very depressing news yesterday, in that we might be out for the rest of the year. Broadway may be down for the rest of the year. When was the last time that happened? It has never happened. Never. That means a lot of folks are going to be out of a job. And here's what we don't want. We don't want them going to work in other industries. We don't want to lose the unbelievable artists that make Broadway what it is today. So do me a favor, go throw some cash in the, we're at like $8,200 right now, I think. We're going to get to 10,000. And then you know what I'm going to do at 10,000 bucks? I'm going to show my Corona cut at $10,000. I previewed this today. I like to say my Corona cut that my wife lovingly did is in previews. It has not yet opened. It will open on the opening night, will be when we hit $10,000. Let me tell you, I previewed it to a few folks today. This is the reaction it got. Or this one. It's really something. It's really something. You're going to see it when we get to 10 grand. So go ahead and throw a little. If you missed last night's episode, go watch the replay with Lynn Ahrens, Tony Award-winning Lynn Ahrens. She gave a master class in writing lyrics. Anyone out there who wants to be a lyricist or a book writer, she literally gave me a curriculum of what I should do over the next 30 days if I want to be a lyricist. I actually don't want to be a lyricist, but it's one of the few hats that I don't want to wear. But if you do, go watch the replay. You can catch all the replays as well on my Facebook page. There's like 60 episodes of this sucker. And every time you watch one, throw a little bit more money into the Actors Fund kitty. All right, catch the replays. There is, Mary's going to throw that link up there as well. Some news today. Speaking of Broadway bouncing back, I did post a blog today. Mary will throw up this link as well about why I believe the bounce back is going to be big. We're going to bounce back big and fast. And I came up with 3 reasons why this is going to be the case. I'm a pretty optimistic and positive guy, so go ahead and check out that. Oh, right, hit the stars, Jose says. The stars, this is the fun way to donate. You throw stars at me. You just like chuck them at me like a pitcher. Just throw them at us. So if you like what we're talking about, throw some stars at us. Someone's calling me right now. Don't they know what the hell I'm doing? I mean, this is anyway. I'm on a live. Should I answer it? No, Mary's like, no, don't answer it. We got too many guests. So what else? Some other sad news. I just want to give a shout out to Larry Kramer, the incredible playwright and activist who passed away today for the Normal Heart. We lost him today, but man, he did a heck of a lot of good, not only for the theater, but the world. So the best quote I read about him today, that I'm sure he's up in heaven raising some hell. So Larry, we're thinking about you in the theater, and the world will be ever changed. So thank you for doing it. Okay, let's get to it. Shall we bring in our first guests? So these folks, this daddy-daughter duo, threw up a tune on YouTube singing together. It's like a few weeks ago, really like 8 weeks ago, a couple months ago. 6 million views of that song alone. They are now these YouTube sensations. They are from Utah. They are live streaming into us tonight. Please welcome the Shahs.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hi, we're so happy to be here. Thanks for having us on, Ken.
Of course. I like many in the world, I became instant fans when I saw your stuff. So tell me, just what gave you the idea to just do this? Why now? You're obviously both wonderful singers and wonderful performers. Why were you like, you know what, let's just record a tune? Why now?
It was your idea.
It was my idea, yeah. So I wasn't on social media before this at all. And I'm just in a local children's choir here in Utah.
Wait, did you see his face? A 15-year-old not on social media, right?
Yeah.
I want to take a note.
Yeah.
Are you on social media, Matt? Are you like, I'm on Twitter and TikTok all day long, but don't let my daughter?
No, I'm on Instagram, and that's about it, and Facebook. And I have learned YouTube just from doing this. It took me like 2 hours to upload our first video because I had to start a channel and then figure out how to upload. But we're good now. We've learned.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
It took a while, but we've got it now.
Tell your story.
Savannah, you were just like, I want to do a tune, and oh, Dad, why don't you do it with me, and we'll just see what happens?
Yeah, I just pulled him in from the backyard. He was doing yard work, and I was like, hey, let's just sing a song for my first post. He was in an old family reunion t-shirt and just like a ball cap, and we sit down to film it. I'm like, hey, do you want to go change your shirt and kind of get nice? And he's
Ken,
like,
she wanted me to freshen
yeah.
up. That's what it was.
And he's like, your choir friends are not going to care what I'm wearing. Who's going to see this? Family and friends. It's fine. And then after all the views, I think he should have changed his clothes. I think he agrees. I was right.
So was it one take? How many takes did you do of the song before you were like, okay, that's the one, let's put it up?
No, we ran through it a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a song that we're familiar with. We love the prayer. And she would be singing it, just practicing upstairs, and I'd be singing the other part from my office downstairs. So we had kind of sung it around the house a little bit before that, but really this was the first time that we had officially done a duet together.
Yeah.
I think, which sounds crazy. I don't know why it took us this long, but this was really kind of her first social media post ever, and then really our first duet.
Yeah.
All these singers all over right now creating How quickly did it take off? When were you like, what's happening?
It took maybe a couple weeks, I think, for it to really grow, but
it was so funny. He sent me a screenshot and he was like, it's at 3,000 views. And we were both like, how did this happen?
Yeah, I sent her this screenshot at 3,000, and my mind was blown. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That people were listening to our music and sharing it, and then obviously it's way more than 3,000 now. But it took a couple weeks, and then it just really got crazy.
And you posted a whole bunch of videos now, including some Broadway tunes, which is what got my attention. You're a Broadway fan, Savannah?
Yes, very much so.
She loves Phantom of the Opera. That's the first show that I've ever seen. live. I saw that as a kid. My mom made me read the book so I could earn a ticket to go see the show on Broadway. It's been a favorite of mine. It's been a favorite of Savannah's.
I've never seen it in like live at the theater, but my sister and I have watched the movie like every other day in quarantine. We both love it. So hopefully someday we'll be able to go see it.
So you've never been to New York either. You've seen other shows though.
Well, I've seen 2 shows that have come to Utah. I saw Wicked and Newsies, but I've never been to New York.
Got it. And you have favorite Broadway? Do you follow Broadway? Do you have favorite performers? Like,
yes, yeah, I love Sierra Boggess. She's the coolest person ever.
And we heard you may know her, Ken.
She did the live. I'm nodding like Sierra. She did our live stream a few weeks ago.
Savannah freaked out. She saw that. She's like, Ken knows Sierra.
Yeah.
She's not a very nice person. I have to break it to you. She's really, if you saw that, she's just very negative.
We watched that live, so she's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you want to be a performer? Is this something you want to do?
I never really considered it as a possibility until all of this happened. I just didn't think it could happen. But I would love that now. Just this has opened up so many like dreams and so many ideas of what I might want to do. So
That's great. That's great. Well, you're a very, very talented woman. Let's see if anyone out there has any questions. Let's see if we can get someone on and see. Do we have any? Mary? Do we have any questions out there? Oh, look who it is!
No way!
It's Sierra Boggess.
Hi! Hi, Savannah. Hi, Matt. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Sierra. Thank you for being here.
She's crying. They have watched your live broadcast so many times. Dude.
That is so cool.
Literally every day.
Savannah, I heard you sing Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again. It was
this is crazy.
yeah.
I don't know if you can see. This is like, I'm so starstruck.
Oh my God. You guys are so special, and what you are just giving to the world right now, and how amazing that's like during this time of quarantine, during this time of just sadness and difficulty, what's coming out of this kind of stuff is what you guys are doing. And I'm listening now. It's like, it's just basically on a whim, and something within your soul's like, come sing with me. And it wasn't so that we can get this, and this. It's because my soul is telling me this is what I have to do. Right?
Oh, we love it. And honestly, it's been the silver lining in this quarantine for us, because I've been able to have this extra time. Savannah's been home from school with all this, so she has extra time. And we've been able to really explore and share this passion of music that we have together. And it's helped us grow our relationship, and it's provided some crazy opportunities like meeting Sierra. It's so crazy.
I feel like I can't even breathe.
All this is, come on, Ken's just making magic left and right.
That is incredible.
Savannah, do you have any questions for Sierra while you've got her here?
Now,
Oh my God.
surprise bombed you.
Yeah.
Can you even think straight?
I can't even think straight. I forgot English.
Well, I got an idea. How about this? You come up with some questions, and when Broadway opens back up again, I'm going to fly the 2 of you to New York. We'll put you up in a hotel. We'll get you a couple tickets to see Phantom of the Opera. We'll maybe give you a little tour as well, and maybe Sierra will stop by and say a little hello.
Come on, that is a gift and a half.
And maybe we'll have you audition for something at the same time, because you're super talent. So.
You guys are making me cry, and I don't cry, Ken.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Sierra is so right. You have put such love and such joy and such positivity in the world, not only as performers, but as people and also as a parent and a daughter, that the two of you would just say, we want to do this and we want to do this together. And it's just, you've done obviously such good for so many millions and millions and millions of people that this is just a little small something to say thank you from all of us on Broadway, and you got to come pay us a visit. We
are so shocked and cannot be more appreciative and grateful to both of you so much. Oh my gosh. You are a dream maker, Ken. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You just keep pumping out those videos, okay? And we'll be in touch and we'll figure out when we get you here.
We will. Sierra, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you for the gift that you're giving this entire world. Look how quickly that happened. It's just really, really special. And I'm so glad to meet both of you virtually.
Yes.
Thank you, Sierra, for being such a doll as always.
Of course, Ken.
Beacon of light. We'll see you both. Bye, everybody. Isn't that fantastic? A 15-year-old girl says to her dad, I want to sing a song with you, and millions and millions and millions of views later, look at who they are and what they've done for so many people. It's such a wonderful story. So we're going to bring it to New York. We're going to show them a Broadway show. No fan like that should not see what it's like inside a Broadway theater, so we'll do that. And a special, special thanks to Sierra for being here. She is, I was joking about, obviously, about her negativity. She is just a walking spotlight, that woman. So I'm thrilled she was back on to provide this little spark of joy for us. And now on to the second half of the show. We got two guests for you. So please welcome to the live stream the Tony Award-winning book writer and lyricist, Ms. Lisa Kron. Welcome, Lisa.
Hello.
Hi.
I have no YouTube followers. None.
You had a lot of Tony voters voting for you. That counts. That counts.
All right.
How have you been? How are you doing?
You know, pretty good considering.
Hanging in like the rest of us, I see.
Yeah.
So tell me, I've been asking all of my guests where they were when the virus hit the fan. So where were you? What were you doing the moment you heard that something different or special was happening that you needed to be a little concerned?
I mean, I was sort of following what was happening. I think I was, listening to On the Media on WNYC, and I heard Laurie Garrett talking about it, and that was in February, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a thing. That's when I started washing my hands more and wearing gloves to the store and stuff like that. So, I think, my father was a Holocaust refugee, and I think I've just been, spent my whole life like, when's the bottom going to fall out? When's it all going to go south? So, what a way to follow that uplifting father-daughter duo, really.
Look, it's reality. It's the way it is. We're thankful to folks like that for bringing us up out of this. It's how I get through the day. You know, there are moments. It's such a roller coaster. Did you have anything cut short, abbreviated, anything you were working on that was halted as a result?
I didn't have anything running. I mean, Fun Home is, there were productions of Fun Home that were at Perseverance in Alaska. They were in tech. For instance, yeah. And, there are upcoming productions that have been postponed. But I didn't have anything running at the time.
Can we just take a moment and just say how amazing it is that Fun Home is running in Alaska?
Yeah.
Could you ever have imagined when you got the call to do that show, when you were like, oh, I'm going to do this thing, that one day it would be done in Alaska?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Talk a little bit about the success of that show and what it was like even when you were at the public first and it was getting the accolades. Did you think, oh, this is going to be a big Broadway show someday? What was it like going through that evolution from a small show to the big success?
I think, it first of all, the culture, the timing of it was right. So, I think of culture as kind of like a scaffolding that makes us visible to each other. And in my experience, the idea of this lesbian as a protagonist, this lesbian love story that happens, in the middle of the show, that in my experience had not been legible in this way to mainstream audiences before. And I think it's, decades and decades, hundreds of years of culture building by, LGBTQ artists, activists, people working politically and people working culturally that have, slowly through accretion built this scaffolding of culture that by the time we made it to the public and then made it to Broadway, it was legible in a way that just effortlessly legible to those audiences in a way that I don't think it would have been even 4 years before. And when we were at the public, I've told the story a lot, but when we were at the public, people would often say to me, meaning this to be a compliment, they would say, this is so much bigger than a story about a lesbian, and I would always think, well, this is exactly the size of a story about a lesbian. What you are feeling is that your sense of what kinds of people are in the world has expanded. That's what just got bigger. Your sort of revelation, and I think this is what theater can do at its best, the kind of revelation that this kind of a person who maybe previously was some kind of a caricature or a stereotype or a cartoon cutout, not a real person, all of a sudden shows up to be a fully prismatic human being who can be a protagonist, who can be a receptacle and a reflector of a 360-degree human experience. I think when people have that experience in the theater, that is we of course want to see ourselves represented, and that's very important. But I think then there's this other thing when you see somebody else's humanity, and when you leave the theater and you look in the street, all of a sudden people become visible to you as full humans in the way that you are, in a way that wasn't the case before.
And so you talk about timing and how the timing was right for that show. So what do you think the timing will be right for when this is over? You have any idea, like, what do you think the type of material that we're going to want to engage in when we emerge from the Corona cave, as I call it?
We're in a state of extreme flux right now, obviously, culturally, economically, in every way, politically, certainly. And I think in the same way that we couldn't predict this moment, none of us can really imagine. Some people might have some pretty good guesses, but, first of all, the future is being made. We're making it. All of us. Whatever happens next, we have a hand in creating that. And I think it's, for myself, I want to keep reminding myself to think of it that way, that we don't have to be bystanders to something that's being done to us. We are making whatever is going to happen next. And we're going to have to be knit back together. And I think that there's a way that theater can do that for people in a way that nothing else can. Our desire to be connected and in rooms with each other is going to be extremely powerful. And, I've been thinking that what we're going to want to see is the theater by and for the Lyft drivers and the cashiers and the healthcare workers and the unemployed and the people grieving by themselves, all of this experience, which we have no way to understand what it is that's happening to us. We're going to need to sort of make meaning out of that together. We're losing. It's just like confusion and disorientation and loss and loss and loss. And we're going to need to make that meaningful, and that's what theater will be able to do for us when we come back and together reflect whatever it is that we've been through. And we can feel connected around it. There are a lot of forces that want to make us feel divided, but we can feel we are connected around it. So
It's such a brilliant thought. There's been a lot of talk about like, oh, when the theater comes back, we'll do like some benefit performances for the healthcare workers, or some benefit performance, like we'll invite them all for free to the Uber drivers and the grocery delivery, and it's true, and we should do stuff like that. But what I love about what you just said is you've gone to the next place. Like, forget about just inviting them to see our stories. Let's make stories about these people.
Let's let them make those stories.
Right.
There are artists among those people. I know some of them.
Fascinating. Right. Amazing. That is like one of the, and they should be creating the stories of our time. And are you I'm curious about are you working on something right now? Like, how are you creating during this time?
Truthfully, I've been a little bit at sea in terms of what I'm creating since 2016. I'm sort of starting to do a lot of different things, but I don't know. I think in 2016, I was like, after the election, I was like, my assumptions about the sort of ground that I stand on, they're wrong. I don't know what they are. This election didn't come out of nowhere. And whatever it came out of, we're all implicated in it. So I think I've been, doing sort of like long-term deep work to figure out what that means in terms of what I make. And been, sort of
mining.
I think Fun Home in a certain way was if my work is kind of having these chapters, that was sort of the culmination of, sort of a longer journey. And I think I'm sort of starting a new aesthetic exploration, and I don't quite know what it is.
You have tips for folks out there who are trying to create as well, trying to stay positive during this time, knowing that, like, as you said at the beginning, who knows not only when we'll be back, but what it'll look like.
Yeah.
How are you staying up?
I mean, the novelist George Saunders wrote that beautiful letter to his students, which I'm going to badly paraphrase. I recommend looking at it. But, what he said to them was, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. We don't know what this is or what it will be, but he was saying to young people, what is happening now is the thing you're going to draw from as writers for the rest of your life. So what you need to do is just pay attention, just soak it in, just notice everything that you can notice. And I'm really trying to do that for myself also. And then, find places. We are not powerless. And I think the way to feel, for me, my experience is the way to not feel powerless is to find places where you can make a difference, where you can, they're all, whatever your passion is, whether it's political, whether it's mutual aid, whether it's whatever it is, you're doing it right now with this podcast. Find the thing that helps you feel like you have agency and that you're connecting with, we're just more powerful together than we are individually. And there's all kinds of ways to manifest that. So that's my advice.
So that is so smart. And this episode is a perfect example of that, with the Shahs doing their thing. You're right. This is totally my thing. When I was like, what the am I going to do? I got to do something. I said, I know I'll get really smart people like Lisa Kron to come on the live stream.
And you're raising all this money, and you're, you know, I'm seeing in the comments, you're making this community for people. Yeah, totally.
We have some questions, I believe, Mary. We've got a, so we're going to.
Are the questions like, where are the Shahs? Can you bring the Shahs back?
No. No, you've got a lot of fans here, my dear. You got a lot of fans. So we have, is Ellen? Is it Ellen? No, it's not Ellen. Mary's like, it's not Ellen. It's, well, we'll find out who it is. Bring them on. It's Diana.
Hi, Diana.
Hi.
Diana, go ahead and ask your question.
First of all, I just want to say I'm a big.
Oh.
So I just want to say I'm a big fan, and like whenever I need inspiration, I always watch your Tony Award speech because it's just the best Tony Award speech of all time. And I was just wondering, what are some of your favorite Broadway lyrics or like Broadway that you really look up to?
Oh, well, musicals specifically?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I stalked Janine Tesori to get her to work with me on Fun Home. I'm a huge Janine Tesori fan, huge Carol Interchange fan. You know, I love, you know, I grew up listening to musicals, and I really, you know, love the classics. I love Music Man. I think it's just, you know, all musicals are actually really weird. They're all, you know, they're all just strange. And, you know, Music Man is so strange. You know, Fiddler on the Roof, of course, is one of the greatest of all times. I really admire the lyrics to Grey Gardens. I really have studied those lyrics a lot. I really love them. Of course, I'm a Hamilton fan, like everybody. I don't know. What are some of your favorites?
Oh, I don't know. Well, obviously yours. I really love Nell Benjamin's lyrics. I think she's really funny, and I think as like a female writer, she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nell Benjamin and you.
You know who else I really love is Dorothy Fields, like Sweet Charity. Those lyrics are amazing. Incredible. Yeah. It's hard. Lyrics are hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do them well. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that question, Diana.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Diana.
it. Thanks for popping in. When you wrote the book for Fun Home, did you, I'm going to ask a similar question just based not on lyric, but on book. You know, book is like the forgotten art, if you will. It's always the thing that gets all the blame and none of the credit. Did you study any of the great books of musicals? Like, how did you prepare yourself for that?
Sure. I mean, I think probably everybody who writes musicals, while they're writing them, they're looking at other musicals all the time. You know, it's a form that's really, I mean, I suppose all art is like this in a certain way, but it's about its form, you know. And there's a book that actually, I think I was, we might have been done writing it by the time this book came out, but I really love this book. It's called Musical as Drama by Scott McMillan. And that, I think, is just the greatest book about the actual craft and the formal questions of what musicals are like. It's really an amazing, amazing book. I mean, Fun Home was, you know, it's a tricky piece of writing. It was a really tricky piece of writing, yeah.
So that's my question. So Fun Home is an unconventional musical, right? We had never really seen anything like it. And certainly we're pushing the boundaries in so many places. How did you know, and how did you get the confidence to break the rules of the theater? Because listen, I myself, I'm like a rule, like, oh, this is how the formula, this is how it works. But you have to know when to color outside those lines.
I actually think that that the dynamics are the same, but the way they manifest is different. You know, I think both Janine and I were very, you know, when I mean, I always feel it when people are like, oh, I hate musicals. I'm like, no, Nobody hates a musical. Shut up. Nobody hates a musical. The fact is, people love musicals so much that what they feel is betrayed when they see a bad musical. And whenever people are like, I hate musicals, I'm like, what's the first show you ever loved in the theater? And they're always like, Bye Bye Birdie. It's just like, and Janine has no tolerance for the I hate musicals thing. Anyway, I just like, nobody hates a musical. When I started working on Fun Home about the same time that I was first elected to the Dramatists Guild Council, and then I became a Tony voter. So then, you get Tony tickets and you get to see all the shows. And I remember thinking, musicals, even if it's bad, it'll be great because you'll see people singing and dancing. And very quickly I was like, wrong. Musicals are so much more formally rigorous than plays. And when we were first working on Fun Home, we, had a conversation with George Wolfe to sort of, ask him some questions about the form. And he said to us, your main character needs to have one very clear primal drive. And if you have that, then you can be as complicated as you want. But there must be one primal drive that drives the whole thing. And he talked about Jelly's Last Jam and how that worked in that. And I said, we said to him, did you know that what his drive was from the beginning? And he said, oh no, it took me 5 years to figure it out. And that was also true in a way of with Fun Home. It took us a long time, but in fact, the first words in the musical are the little girl saying, Daddy, come here, Daddy. The primal desire for this girl and for this daughter to connect, not in an intellectual way, but in the most primal father-daughter way with her father, that starts the musical and it continues through the end. So I actually don't, and Janine is just like, she's such a master, and she would say things like, the audience needs a break here. There needs to be a group number and it needs to be fun. That's what has to happen here. Like rhythmically, she was just like, her sense of the machine of, I saw that, amazing revival of Hello Dolly with Bette Midler, whatever it was, a couple years ago. And I was just like, the actual, like the physics, the math of a musical, those songs in Hello Dolly, that musical does not make a blind bit of sense. And what happens in the second act? When they're like, welcome back, Dolly, welcome back. Where's she been? We haven't heard about the Harmony Garden. What is that about? Nobody knows. But the way those songs build, the way he just, put on your Sunday hat, put on your Sunday best, whatever it is. The way that song builds and builds and builds until literally the audience, we were on our feet. We were like, just like out of our minds because of his ability to build whatever it is that happens in a musical. It's like I don't know what it's like some kind of a joy-making pattern machine that if you do it right, that's definitely a part of it. That's definitely a part of it. And even though Fun Home is, not traditional, we were definitely thinking about those kinds of questions of what are the actual rhythmic, the machinery of engagement that sucks you in and has its way with you.
I don't know if anyone caught my mouth like wide open when you were talking before, because obviously I know a primal want and objective, but the fact that it's embedded in the first couple words of your musical in Daddy Come Here in a way that you would not recognize it has got to be one of the most brilliant pieces of writing I have heard in a musical. And that passed by me, which is of course the best type of writing there is, when it just gets under your skin like that.
Well, you don't need to think about it. You need to feel it.
Yeah. And certainly I felt it, and everyone who I know who has saw Fun Home felt it. And I thank you for giving that gift. And it's that musical is such a perfect example of how entertainment can change the world.
Totally.
And now it's being done in Alaska.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful you joined us tonight, and for all those wise words and your inspiration as well. It's so good to see you.
You too, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
And that is another episode of the Producer's Perspective Live. I hope you all enjoyed our conversation, both with Lisa Kron and with the Shahs, who I think I still see them backstage, and I think they've multiplied a little bit. I think there may be another Shah in the shot. You want to come on and say a quick wave goodbye to everybody and that new one there?
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's another one.
This is Penny Jean.
Hi, Penny.
Ken, we are still in shock. Just absolute, total shock. Savannah's still crying.
Well, you just promised to keep doing what you're doing and provide all that light for everyone, and we'll do our best to turn the lights back on here on Broadway soon.
Thank you so much, Ken.
Take care of that family. That was the Shahs, and don't forget, we got another episode tomorrow. Let's see, who do we got tomorrow? Choreographer Kelly Devine from Come From Away. Diana, brilliant choreographer. She'll be on tomorrow telling us all about her creative process. She was in the middle of doing Diana when all this happened, so we'll talk about the status. And what I find interesting about talking to people that are working on something right now is what they're doing now. Because Diana will be back, it will be back, and now they've got all this time to do some more work. You know, we do this work during previews of Broadway shows. What are they doing now? I know that team, I know Kelly Devine, I bet they're working their butt off for that. Don't forget about the Actors Fund. If you enjoyed tonight, please give a little something to the Actors Fund so I can take my hat off for you all. Another reaction today. There was this one. What's that? That's what someone did when they saw my hair. So let's see what your reaction is when you see my Corona Cup when we hit 10,000 bucks. And lastly, something to make you smile. We end every episode with this. This is the segment of the show that turned us on to the Shahs. This is where we discovered the Shahs. This one, it's our first TikTok. It's our first TikTok make you want to smile. I don't really understand TikTok because I'm 47. So who knows what a TikTok is? My wife does, actually. Anyway, this is the first TikTok, and this is, you don't need a stage to do Phantom. Yes, that's right. That's a Phantom, that's a Christine, and that's a pool. That's all I have to say. If you want to go check out that TikTok, and you know what the cool thing about TikToks? They're very short. Very short. So go when you got 15 seconds, and you all know you have 15 seconds. We're stuck inside in a pandemic. Go to theproducersperspective.com/smile. Check that one out. Scroll through, see the other ones. Keep scrolling. You'll find the Shahs on there in case you missed them. Watch all that. It'll put a smile on your face. Much better than the news. Much better than news. Go smile. Enjoy your day, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget about the Actors Fund. We will see you tomorrow with Kelly Devine. Bye, everybody.
Getting the band back together.